because it just reminded me even of myself as like a early 20s military wife and meeting all of these different types of people from all, various parts of the country. And, there's just something that still makes me very emotional about it. Like I can get very teary eyed thinking about what that was like, or even like around 9/11, where I became like a power of attorney for single airmen, like
Right.
heading out to like Diego Garcia or going somewhere else. And you're like, you couldn't know a whole lot other than like, you're going to own this paperwork. And should something happen to me, I need you to do all of this stuff for me.
Right.
And that's like, okay. You know what I mean? And it's such a, and that's freaky enough, even from my paradigm. I can't imagine being some young kid going on a plane with, these large planes with these, machinery in the middle of like this cargo plane. And you're just kind of like banked up against like the walls of the plane, and they open up this door and they're like, get out, and go do your thing, And I would tell them all the time, it's like, never in my life will I know what that was like for you. And everybody's story is a little similar, but not, because it's them. And it's just kind of like everybody has a different family structure, or everybody has a different friend structure, or some would be married and some wouldn't, And so I always just have this, I will always have a very, very special place for veterans. And I just don't think that the country does enough to one, thank them, to pay them, and three, really kind of help them transition or handle, areas of PTSD or, I always just feel like there could be more to that. And, I think, we're lucky in the fact that we really didn't have to deal with, we didn't really suffer a whole lot of loss. You did see some loss. I know Dave's loss, has seen loss, and seen death up close. But, you guys are still here and you have all of your limbs, and you're able to walk without assistance.
We're talking about the implications that go with signing that check. It's a weight and it's a worry, not just for you and your family, but there are some really cool times that go with it too.
Yeah.
I can think of one moment on a deployment. It was my first deployment. Matter of fact, I forward deployed to from Saudi Arabia to Qatar. It was for Operation Desert Fox. We were moving ammo out of Qatar, flying it into Kuwait to use for combat sorties for that operation. And they needed somebody with it's called T2 at the time, but basically putting aircraft missiles, air to ground aircraft missiles on aircraft pallets. You have to use multiple pallets because these missiles they're long. It doesn't fit on one aircraft pallet, so there's an art to putting them together and chaining them up and everything. Well, that's what we did. One of the things that we did at Kadena. So they came down to our section one day, the chief, and he's like, he said, I need somebody that knows about T2s. T2s. I'm from Kadena.
Yeah.
Pilot. So he's like, well, get in the truck. So I get in the truck and they take me up to the headquarters there, and chief and the commander, they're like, you know how to do T2s? Yeah. And I said, well, you're going to get on this plane, you're going to fly to Qatar, and you're going to be TDY for a week or two while they're doing that. Well, so I actually wound up having to, jump a couple of planes, but the last flight into Qatar, it was a C-130, and basically I was the mission. The loadmaster came back and he said, this is it. This is our last mission for the day. He said, so when we land, we're going to drop you off and we're going to turn and go. And so it was like a rolling stop, like
yeah.
The C-130 landed, they kicked the door open. I stepped off with my bags, engine still running, and then they turned around and took right off. And
oh my gosh,
I felt like an absolute freaking VIP, so that was a really cool me, just a little E4 getting the single, this flight's for you treatment. But yeah,